Welcome, fellow educators. I'm Mark Branham, professor at San Jose City College. Imagine having a digital teaching assistant available 24/7 to help students explore historical speeches, solve math problems, or engage in thoughtful discussions. That's the power of educational chatbots. Today, we'll walk through how to create effective questions for chatbots using PlayLab, ensuring they have support for deep learning and meaningful engagement. Whether you're new to AI or already experimenting with it in your classroom, this guide will help you craft thoughtful questions that maximize your chatbot's impact. Imagine if your students had access to a teaching assistant available 24/7, ready to answer their questions, guide discussions, and provide instant feedback. That's exactly what educational chatbots can do. First, chatbots provide 24/7 student support, ensuring that learners can get help anytime, whether they're reviewing lecture notes late at night or working on an assignment over the weekend. Second, they facilitate deeper learning through interactive discussions. Instead of simply answering yes or no questions, well-designed chatbots engage students in meaningful conversations, encouraging critical thinking and exploration. Third, chatbots automate responses to common student inquiries, things like assignment deadlines, course policies, or basic explanations of concepts. This frees up educators to focus on higher order teaching rather than answering repetitive questions. Finally, chatbots encourage critical thinking and engagement. By prompting students to analyze, compare, and apply concepts, they serve as active learning partners rather than passive information sources. By integrating chatbots into our classrooms, we're not only using technology for convenience, we're enhancing student learning, engagement, and accessibility. Think about how you assess student understanding in your classroom. You likely start with basic recall questions before moving on to deeper analysis. Looking at our pyramid, we see this natural progression. At the base, recall questions help students retrieve basic facts like, what's the name of the protagonist? Next, comprehension questions prompt students to explain concepts in their own words, such as, how would you describe the main character's motivations? Moving up, application questions encourage students to use what they've learned in new contexts, like, how would you use this concept in a real-world scenario? At the top, analysis questions push students to think critically. For example, why do you think the protagonist made that decision? This progression is crucial for chatbots. When designing a chatbot database, your questions serve two key purposes. They test the chatbot's ability to accurately retrieve and interpret information, and they guide users towards deeper, more meaningful engagement with the material. Unlike traditional assessments, chatbots respond dynamically. Well-crafted questions don't just check for memorization, they help students think critically and engage at a higher level. The effectiveness of your chatbot ultimately depends on the quality of the questions it is trained to answer. Before we dive into building chatbots, let's first set up on PlayLab. Right now, PlayLab requires an invite to access, so use the special invite link at the top of this slide to join. Step 1, open your web browser and navigate to this invite link, or just type it into your browser. Step 2, click Join Waitlist if prompted, or no, we don't want to do that. Step 2, click Login. No. Step 2, click Login since you already have access. Step 3, choose one of the available authentication methods. Enter your email address and password, or click Continue with Google to sign in with a Google account, or click on to Continue with Clever if your school uses Clever for authentication. Once you've logged in, you'll see the PlayLab dashboard. From here, you can select an existing workspace or create a new one. Step 4, navigate to the My Workspaces section. And step number 5, if you already have a workspace, select it. Otherwise, click New Workspace to create one. And that's it. With PlayLab set up, we're ready to start building your first educational chatbot. Let's take a look on how to create one. Now that we're all set up in PlayLab, let's create your first educational chatbot. In your desired workspace, think of workspaces as a folder for organizing your chatbots. Click New App. You'll be prompted to enter an app name and an app description. Don't stress too much about this. You can modify both later as your project progresses. To illustrate key concepts, we'll use a well-known example throughout this video, Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. This famous speech will help us understand how to design questions that work well with AI chatbots. Once you've entered a name and description, click Create App, and your chatbot framework is ready to go. Now that we have our chatbot set up, let's move on to selecting the right AI model to power its responses. Now that we've created our chatbot, the next step is selecting the AI model that will power its responses. PlayLab offers several AI models, each designed for different types of interactions. Claude Opus, best for deep analysis and writing-heavy tasks, making it ideal for complex reasoning and long-form responses. Claude Haiku, a great choice for quick, straightforward answers where speed matters more than depth. Claude Sonnet strikes a balance between speed and complexity, making it useful for general-purpose educational interactions. GPT-4o, strong at reasoning and structured responses, making it a great option for multi-step tasks or nuanced discussions. GPT-4o Mini, a streamlined version of GPT-4o that is faster, but slightly less nuanced. Great for lightweight, high-speed interactions. And Mistral Large, an open source model that's flexible and ideal for diverse educational applications. When choosing your model, consider your educational goals and the level of complexity you expect in your chatbot's interactions. If your chatbot will be answering simple factual questions, a faster model like Haiku or GPT-4o Mini might work best. If you want deeper discussions or analytical responses, a more advanced model like Claude Opus or GPT-4o might be the better choice. For this example, I'm choosing ChatGPT-4o. Now that we've selected a model, let's fine-tune how our chatbot responds by adjusting its variability settings. Now that we've selected an AI model, let's fine-tune how our chatbot responds using variability settings. Think of variability like student responses in a discussion. 0% viability. Imagine a strict grader who follows a rigid rubric, providing responses that are purely factual and repeating exactly what's in the textbook. 100% variability. Now think of a free-flowing class discussion where students brainstorm ideas. Some insightful, some completely off the wall. This setting allows the chatbot to be highly creative, but also unpredictable. I recommend 40%. For most educational uses, a variable setting around 40% strikes a good balance. It allows structured but flexible responses, meaning the chatbot stays accurate while still engaging in meaningful discussions. So for this example, I'm setting the variability at 40%, ensuring that the chatbot provides helpful, relevant responses without going too far off track. Now that we've fine-tuned how our chatbot responds, the next step is defining its role and personality using the prompt editor. Think of this as creating a lesson plan that guides all chatbot interactions. First, who is your chatbot? Define its expertise. Second of all, what is its role? Establish its purpose and how it should guide users. Third, who is it talking to? Specify the target audience to tailor responses accordingly. Let's look at an example. Imagine we're building a chatbot to help students understand Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Who? It's going to be an expert on Gettysburg Address. The role guides students in historical understanding, and the audience is students learning about history. As shown in the prompt editor, we've clearly defined these elements so the chatbot knows how to interact effectively. A well-structured prompt ensures that responses stay relevant, informative, and aligned with educational goals. Next, let's explore how to structure your chatbot's workflow for an even better learning experience. Now that we've defined our chatbot's role, let's structure how it interacts with students using an effective workflow. A well-designed workflow ensures the chatbot provides relevant, structured, and engaging responses. Step 1, verify students are ready. Before diving into responses, the chatbot should first confirm that students are ready to ask questions about the Gettysburg Address, the Civil War, or Abraham Lincoln. This ensures the interaction starts on the right track. Step 2, respond to student inquiries. Once a student submits a question, the chatbot provides direct, detailed, and educational insights related to their inquiry. Step 3, adjust responses based on question type. If the question is about historical impact, the chatbot should provide context about the Civil War's significance. If the question is about language and meaning, it should explain key phrases in the speech. By following this structured approach, the chatbot ensures that students receive clear and accurate information while also encouraging deeper learning. Let's now explore how to set up guidelines to keep chatbot interactions aligned with best teaching practices. Now that we've structured our chatbot's workflow, we need to define clear guidelines and guardrails. These rules ensure that your chatbot interacts with students in a way that aligns with your educational philosophy and classroom needs. First, setting the boundaries of the AI responses. Different teachers have different preferences on how much flexibility they want their chatbot to have. Some may require strict adherence to provided materials, meaning that the chatbot should only pull answers from specific textbooks, PDFs, or other documents. Others may want to allow more open-ended responses, where the chatbot can use broader knowledge and reasoning to engage students in critical thinking. If you prefer strict responses, set a low variability, closer to 0%, and restrict the chatbot to only referencing uploaded materials. This makes it behave like a highly structured tutor. If you want more flexible responses, allow the chatbot to pull from broader sources while maintaining accuracy and educational alignment. A moderate 40% variability lets the chatbot provide structured but adaptive explanations. Regardless of flexibility, all chatbots should follow good teaching principles. Avoid judgmental or dismissive language. Ensure that the chatbot remains neutral and constructive in its responses. Use inclusive and age-appropriate examples. Adapt explanations for the student level and avoid biases. Provide clear, concise responses. Keep your answers factual, direct, and easy to understand while leaving room for deeper discussion. How much information should your chatbot rely on? In strict mode, the chatbot should only use uploaded references. This is best for structured lessons with specific content. For that, you'd want to set it closer to 0%. Guided mode. This chatbot prioritizes teacher-provided materials, but can supplement with external sources when needed. That would be closer to 40-50%. Open mode. The chatbot can draw from broader knowledge bases while still adhering to its teaching purpose. This works best for critical discussions and debate-style learning. That would be closer to like 80, 90%, maybe even 100% variability. Ultimately, the best approach depends on how you want your chatbot to function in your classroom. Whether you want strict control over your responses or a more dynamic AI tutor, PlayLab allows you to fine-tune these settings to fit your teaching style. To ensure that your chatbot provides accurate, reliable answers, you can upload reference materials that it can use to generate responses. What can be uploaded? PlayLab supports multiple file types, so you can add PDFs such as articles, research papers, lesson plans, docx files, Microsoft Word documents, PPTX files, PowerPoint slides, XLS files, Excel spreadsheets with structured data, or even text files, simple text files with key information. To upload the references, click References in the PlayLab interface, select Add Reference to App, and choose the upload method, either a file, a URL, or an existing library. I would recommend uploading the file. I have found that it tends to work best, even if you provide a specific URL. Your chatbot's adherence to reference settings depends on your variability settings and the source restrictions. If you've selected closer to 0%, that means you're doing things in strict mode, and the chatbot only pulls the information from uploaded materials. It won't use external knowledge, making it highly controlled and precise, which is ideal for structured lessons or fact-based subjects. Guided mode, closer to 40 to 50% variability. The chatbot prioritizes uploaded materials, but may supplement with external knowledge if needed. This is useful for discussions where background knowledge enhances learning. Open mode, where you've selected 80%, 90%, even 100% variability. For that, the chatbot can pull from both reference materials and its broader AI knowledge base, making it ideal for critical thinking and exploratory learning. By carefully managing references and source settings, you can ensure that your chatbot aligns with your instructional goals, whether you want it to be a strict tutor, a flexible learning assistant, or a creative discussion facilitator. Even the best designed chatbots can benefit from some fine-tuning. That's where PlayLab's AI Assistant comes in. It helps you refine and optimize your chatbot for clarity, accuracy, and effectiveness. To use the PlayLab's Assistant, click the Assistant button in the PlayLab interface. Ask it to review your chatbot and provide feedback. You can receive strengths and areas for improvement based on your chatbot's responses and structure. The AI Assistant will identify gaps in logic. It ensures that the chatbot's responses align with the intended learning goals. It can improve educational effectiveness by suggesting ways to make answers clearer, more structured, and more engaging. It can optimize chatbot interactions by recommending refinements in tone, response depth, and instructional clarity. For example, if your chatbot's response is too vague, the assistant might suggest a more detailed or structured reply. By leveraging this tool, you can make sure that your chatbot is truly supporting student learning in the best way possible. Before sharing your chatbot with students, it's important to test it thoroughly to ensure it provides accurate and meaningful responses. To test your chatbot, click the Design button to interact with your chatbot. Try different question types to assess its performance. Basic factual queries, for example, who delivered the Gettysburg Address? Complex analytical questions, such as, how did Lincoln's speech redefine the Civil War's purpose? Edge cases, test scenarios where the chatbot might struggle, ensuring that it handles uncertainty well. And refine your responses based on testing results to improve accuracy and clarity. Once your chatbot is working as intended, you can choose how to share it. Public access means that it will be open to anyone with a link, even if they're not on PlayLab. This is great for educational resources and ensuring that all of your students will be able to have access to your chatbot. Workspace access. It's restricted only to people who are members of your workspace. This might be ideal for course-specific content or to have your colleagues play around with your chatbot before dispensing it to the public. PlayLab access, available to the broader PlayLab community for feedback and collaboration. By thoroughly testing and strategically placing your chatbot, you ensure that it provides the best learning experience for your students while staying aligned with your teaching goals. Creating effective educational chatbots requires both technical skills and teaching experience. But with PlayLab, you now have the tools to build a chatbot that enhances student learning and engagement. Chatbots enhance student engagement and critical thinking. Thoughtful question design ensures meaningful interactions. Experiment, refine, and improve based on student feedback. Now it's your turn. Start experimenting with your own chatbot in PlayLab and see how it transforms learning in your classroom. Join now using the link provided. Download the accompanying handout for extra tips and examples at the link provided on the slide. Thank you for joining this session. I can't wait to see the amazing chatbots that you create.